Coming up on WFT Midday, a pause on some imports but an increase on others. How one country is fighting back on tariffs imposed by President Trump.
And you'll now have to pay an extra charge when getting those eggs scrambled at Waffle House. We'll detail the surcharge and how the chain plans to add breakfast moving forward. WFT's Midday starts now.
You're watching WUFT Midday.
A trade war with two top U.S. allies has been averted for now, but overnight the White House slapped new tariffs on imported goods coming from China. This is WFT Midday. I'm Isabella Reinoso.
And I'm Maddox Forman. Leaders in that country are responding, and as Alice Barr reports, at the same time, a battle is brewing over the Trump administration's move to shutter a key humanitarian aid agency.
We do with all countries. I mean, I look at
minutes after President Trump's 10% tariff on all Chinese imports took effect overnight, the Chinese government retaliating, announcing a new 15% tariff on U.S. coal and liquefied natural gas and a 10% tariff on U.S. products from crude oil to pickup trucks. While on another front, President Trump announced a 30-day delay in 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada after both agreed to beef up border security, Mexico sending troops.
10,000 soldiers at their side of the border and stop fentanyl and illegal aliens from coming into our country.
Canada promising a new fentanyl czar while moving ahead with a previously announced $1.3 billion to reinforce its border, sending 10,000 frontline personnel. That amid a brewing standoff over the power of President Trump's cost-slashing ally Elon Musk. The White House designating the world's richest man a special government employee with top-secret security clearance, giving him access to sensitive government systems like Treasury Department payments.
Well, he's got access only to letting people go that he thinks are no good if we agree with him.
Musk looking to let a lot of people go at the U.S. Agency for International Development, which delivers critical food, medicine, and humanitarian support to 60 countries. Proponents say shoring up national security. Musk argues there's too much waste in the agency's $42 billion budget, pressing to shut it down.
Elon Musk did not create U.S. aid. He doesn't have the power to destroy it.
Democratic lawmakers fighting to save an organization that is authorized and funded by Congress. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
This morning, you may have seen some fog and chilling breeze on your commute. WFT's Jadyn Bottini joins us now with the weather forecast with a look at the warmer week we have ahead.
Looking across campus right now, skies are clear. It's about 73 degrees with some light winds, about 6 miles per hour. It's shaping up to be a beautiful day out there. Our temperatures are much more comfortable than we have seen in a while. Up to 70 in Gainesville, 75 in Ocala, 68 in Bronson, and our highs this afternoon getting into the 80s across much of North Florida. Looking at our evening forecast around 7 p.m., it'll be mostly cloudy, 10 p.m. almost no wind, and that fog will be forming with no wind to push it out, so be advised for that tomorrow morning. And coming up, we're looking at our fog tomorrow morning, our warmer temperatures in the 80s and remaining warm this week.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is continuing his diplomatic trip in Central America, where he announced that El Salvador will accept deportees and dangerous criminals, including U.S. citizens and legal residents. While in El Salvador, Rubio signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at advancing peaceful nuclear cooperation between the United States and the Republic of El Salvador. Following the signing ceremony, Rubio announced that El Salvador's president has offered to accept deportees from the U.S. of any nationality, including MS-13 gang members and dangerous American criminals currently in custody. The Salvadorian president says there would be a fee of outsource as part of its prison system to the United States. Marines from North Carolina boarded a military transport plane headed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba today at the direction of President Trump. Military service members are supporting holding operations led by the Department of Homeland Security at the naval station. The Marines will join other military personnel already there that can hold up to 30,000 migrants. Last week, President Trump signed an executive order clearing the way for detained migrants to be housed at facilities. Fear and confusion in Alachua County as rumors spread about immigration sweeps. The sheriff's office is now speaking out to set the record straight. WFT's Jessica Nitti breaks down what we already know and what we're working to learn.
In a statement, the sheriff's office says ICE operations are focused on specific individuals, not random checkpoints or mass detentions. They also say that local law enforcement has been reassured by ICE that they will be informed about any operations. President Trump's immigration bills revolve around tightening national security. ICE has intensified its immigration enforcement efforts across Florida since last month's inauguration, focusing on targeted operations aimed at individuals with final orders of removal or criminal records. But not everyone agrees with these policies. Some backlash has even come from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, targeted at his own Republican-led state legislature.
I think of every piece of legislation I think I've ever considered, I don't know that it's ever been more lopsided than this one.
In response to these developments, Governor Ron DeSantis has taken several steps, including the special legislative session, veto of the newly passed immigration bill, and law enforcement collaboration. But despite these assurances, fears across the country remain.
We're not criminals. We're humans. We are hard workers. We're fathers, sons, husbands, wives. And we are all the way into the deep roots of this country.
For those who may be affected, immigration law groups recommend knowing your rights. You have the right to remain silent, you do not have to open your door unless presented with a warrant, and you have the right to speak to a lawyer. And if you see something that concerns you, officials say verify the facts before sharing information online.
That was Jessica Nitti reporting. To recap, there are no sweeps, no roundups, but ICE operations are happening. The best advice is to stay informed, know your rights, and check reliable sources before believing or spreading rumors.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is proposing a $115.6 billion budget for the 2025 through 26 fiscal year. He says this budget plan calls for increasing pay for state law enforcement officers and firefighters and creating a new sales tax holiday on guns and ammunition. The proposal is an initial step as lawmakers prepare to negotiate a final budget during the regular legislative session starting March 4th.
You could be fiscally responsible, respect taxpayers, and yet still deliver on the main promises that you made and the main public needs of our people.
The proposal doesn't seek tuition or see increases for students at Florida colleges and universities and maintains current funding for the Bright Future Scholarship Program.
Flu rates are spiking across the state of Florida. The CDC says it expects numbers to rise. WFT's Hayli Balgobin is in the studio to break down what you can do to prevent yourself from getting sick.
It's the season of the sick. Credit of influenza, Grace Carino is bouncing back after a week in bed with meds.
Slowly catching up, still getting better for sure, but hopefully things this week will kind of get back into a regular rhythm.
This actually is the worst flu season that I've seen in 10 years.
UF Health clinical professor and hospital epidemiologist Nicole Iovine says care is critical.
What we see is an influx of patients in our emergency rooms and also those that need to be admitted to one of our inpatient services.
According to the CDC, Florida reached level 10 for flu activity. The Florida Flu Review states Alachua and surrounding counties should expect increasing sickness reports. The current predominant strain, influenza AH3, is highly contagious. It spreads through respiratory droplets such as cough, sneeze, or talk.
It's not too late to get the flu shot, even though it's February, because like I said, the cases are really, really high right now.
That's her medical advice to help prevent the flu spike.
That was Hayli Balgobin reporting. With germs in the air, in addition to the flu shot, medical professionals say the best way to recover from the flu is to stay well rested, drink lots of fluid, and keep away from others.
More than $33 million in unclaimed property is being returned to Floridians throughout the state. In Gainesville, there's more than $500,000 in unclaimed property. State leaders say it's estimated that 1 in 5 Floridians has unclaimed property waiting for them, with an average claim of $825. To search and claim your unclaimed property, you can visit fltreasurehunt.gov.
Marion County has named its latest Teacher of the Year. Over the weekend at the Golden Apple Gala, Sarah Jacobs was named the county's best educator. Jacobs is in her 12th year of teaching and teaches 9th and 10th grade English at Westport High School. In addition to having the honors, Jacobs gets the keys to a new 2025 Acura Integra with a 3-year lease. She now advances to the state level for Teacher of the Year recognition program.
We're going to take a live look with our DOT cam at today's traffic on I-75 from Paynes Prairie. Traffic is light right now and you should be breezing through the road on your lunch break. Let's head over to WFT's Jadyn Bottini for this week's upcoming weather.
That's right, those skies are clear and sunny, and we have some temperatures to match it. 72 in Gainesville, 75 in Ocala, 73 in Jacksonville, and we'll continue to warm up throughout the rest of the day. This might be the hottest day of the year so far, getting into the 80s, which we haven't reached yet this year. 81 in Gainesville, 82 in Ocala, 82 in Palatka are our high temperatures this afternoon, and we will continue to be seeing some warmer days ahead. We could be 10 to 15 degrees above average as we have a high pressure system in the Gulf causing our area to be a little bit above average, but just north of us, they're even having some warmer temperatures up there, about 20 degrees above average in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. We're tracking this cold front as it heads to the east, causing some weather over here. Not much here on the Gulf Coast, staying pretty clear. But as it tracks to the east, the jet stream is bringing it, causing some precipitation on the east coast. And we just had a storm to the northeast that's heading out right now, followed by the storm we're tracking, bringing lots of precipitation again to the east coast, a little bit in the panhandle, but not too much in our area, and a low pressure system following it that could bring us some potential showers next week. Looking at campus right now, skies are clear. It's about 73 degrees with some light winds. A beautiful day, comfortable temperatures that we've missed the past couple of weeks. This evening, 73 degrees by 6 p.m. That fog will be forming overnight, getting down to 57. Watch for that fog tomorrow morning. Our lows in the 50s with light winds, making that fog stay in our area. Looking at the 7-day, remaining in the 80-degree range throughout the rest of the week. Wednesday 82 as well as Thursday. This weekend will be sunny, a great weekend to go outside, temperatures in the 80s. Monday we can look for about 20% chance of precipitation.
Millions of Americans have brain diseases and disorders, yet cause and prevention for these cases are still unknown. This is due in part to the fact that research is conducted after diagnoses.
But a large brain study happening now, it's aimed at changing that. Mandy Gaither explains why healthy adults are being studied instead of patients who are already sick.
It includes Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, strokes, and epilepsy. Brain diseases and disorders affect so many people, but researchers say right now the root cause of many of them is still not fully understood.
Therefore, we cannot come up with any therapeutic or any treatment for most of the neurodegenerative disorders.
That's why Dr. Ahmad Najm and his team at Cleveland Clinic launched a large-scale brain study 3 years ago, hoping to not only help treat these diseases after diagnosis, but also to potentially prevent them altogether.
We are looking at the body and the brain before the disease happens. And this is what we call the silent phase.
During that phase, Najm says changes in the brain begin to happen years before symptoms start. For this study, researchers have enrolled nearly 3,600 healthy adults. Participants are aged 50 and older with no known neurological disorder, or a healthy adult aged 20 and above who have a family history of multiple sclerosis. They'll undergo testing and be monitored over the course of 20 years.
The ultimate hope is to find out what we call therapeutic biomarker. One of these changes could be a target of development of a new medication or repurposing of a medication that's already approved.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Researchers say many neurological diseases are similar in traits and patterns, which is why they're hopeful this study will provide advancement. To learn more about the study or to see if you're eligible to participate, check out the Cleveland Clinic Brain Study website.
Businesses around the country closed their doors on Monday in what they called a day without immigrants. Daycares, grocery stores, hair salons, and many others across the U.S. took part in the loosely organized day of protest against President Trump's immigration policies. The campaign called on immigrants to not go to work, not attend schools, and not spend any money on business in order to show how important immigrants are to the country's economy. Since President Donald Trump took office, his administration pushed deportation efforts and published new rules making it easier to remove people.
Waffle House is adding an egg surcharge amid higher prices. Customers will now have to pay 50 cents more per egg at the restaurant chain. Waffle House says the surcharge is only in place until egg prices come down. Egg prices have soared amid a shortage following a bird flu outbreak. Both businesses and customers are fleeing the consequences.
The Super Bowl this Sunday means some cool freebie offers for your people and your pets. Among them, national online pet retailer Chewy is giving away 59,000 treats for birds, dogs, and cats. That's only if the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They say they're rooting for the birds since they have a soft spot for all animals. If they win, the company will release a promo code redeemable on its website. Buffalo Wild Wings is offering 6 free wings if the game goes into overtime. They gave more than 2.5 million wings away last year.
Now let's head over to our Noticias partners for a look at today's top stories for a Spanish language audience.
Hola, soy Kristin Vital con tus noticias en 90 segundos. Un sospechoso acusado de matar a una adolescente de 16 años cerca de Gainesville tiene audiencia tribunal el día de hoy. Jeremy Navarro, de 22 años, es uno de los sospechosos y se presentará hoy ante los tribunales penales. Navarro ya tenía una sentencia de por vida por un caso de homicidio en el condado de Marion. La víctima Zane Sanders recibió un impacto de bala en una fiesta de graduación cerca de Southwest Archer Road en enero de 2022. La policía dice que ella fue una espectadora de esta situación que la quitó la vida. Sanders vivía afuera del estado y se encontraba visitando a su familia. El Salvador se ofreció a recibir en sus prisiones a criminales indocumentados de Estados Unidos. Luego de la reunión que tuvieron el presidente de El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, y el secretario de Estado de Estados Unidos, Marco Rubio, acordaron que El Salvador está dispuesto a aceptar a criminales indocumentados de Estados Unidos que sean de cualquier nacional, de recibirlos en sus cárceles. Además, este sería un acuerdo sin precedentes, lo cual alarmó a grupos de derechos humanos y analíticos debido a que este puede generar un conflicto legal. Rubio ha definido este como una oferta de amistad de parte de Bukele. El Ministerio de Comercio de China anunció este martes que aplicará aranceles compensatorios contra Estados Unidos. China implementará aranceles en productos como el carbón y gas líquidos de un 15% y el petróleo crudo de un 10%. La Administración Estatal de Regulación del Mercado Chino también dijo que está investigando a Google por la presunta violación de las leyes antimonopolio. La propuesta inicial de China se centrará en restaurar el acuerdo comercial de 2020, donde ambos países firmaron una pausa que mantenía en vigor gran parte de los aranceles. Esas fueron tus noticias en 90 segundos. Gracias por sintonizarnos.
For the rest of the week, we'll remain in the 80s. Those temperatures finally warming up. Saturday and Sunday, a beautiful weekend. Skies will be clear, partly cloudy the rest of the week. The temperatures remaining in the 80s and a chance of rain 20% on Monday.
Thanks for joining us for WUFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We will see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.